This video, I'm going to tell you about 16 guys who can realistically become multiple time national champions. Who are they? Well, let's stop stalling and start talking wrestling. What's going on, wrestling fans? My name's Josiah, and welcome to Fanco Wrestling. And I'm so excited to talk about these guys who can possibly become multiple-time national champions. But what exactly does that mean, realistically become national champions? Because really, look, there's anybody who can come out of the woodwork and win a national title. We've seen it happen in the past few years. I mean, you could say that Mekhi Lewis kind of came out of nowhere and won a national title. You could talk about Drew Foster coming out of the woodwork and winning a national title. But right now, we're just looking at the projections, looking at guys who have won a national title before, haven't made a national finals appearance, have All-American, looking at the competition they have wrestled, as well as projections for guys who are leaving those certain weights or graduating, and looking at guys who have a top like 3 rank coming into the 2021 season. So looking at those, taking that into consideration, who are some guys who could win national titles? I'm going to tell you about 2-timers, 3-timers, and 4-timers, and stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a bonus as a guy who I think could become a 4-timer. That'll be really interesting to dive into, and I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. But first up, we have to talk about the 2-timers and who we have here. Look, this is a list of 2-timers, potential 2-timers based on those stipulations. First of all, the only guy on this list who has actually won a national title before is Nick Suriano. Nick Suriano is the only one to win that national title. Now, he's actually been in 2 national finals and is looking to have a solid upcoming season. He had, in his title run, he actually had losses on the season already to Stefan Miocic, Austin DeSanto, Dayton Fix, which he avenged each of those losses pretty much back to back, which was very, very exciting, made for a great season. So he's the only national champion on this list. But who are these other guys? We have a couple of finalists and a couple of guys who could do, I believe, really, really well, could have even won a national title this year. And one of those guys, Austin O'Connor was the number 2 seed at NCAAs this year, and this is just unfortunate because the tournament was, of course, canceled this year. He ended up making the national semifinals the last time he wrestled at the national championships, and he's coming into next season looking to do very, very well. He's 25-1 last season, and his only loss was to Pat Lugo, who is now gone and graduated. Because he is a junior, he's looking to become a 2-timer if he can win a title this year and the next year. The next guy that is on the list here is Max Steen. He made a national finals appearance in the past in 2019. Really just had a solid national tournament at the end of the year. He upended Cash Wilkie, beat Nino Bonacorsi, and he was the guy who defeated Miles Martin. He is somebody who is projected to do well coming into this next season, and because he's a junior, he has a shot at winning 2 national titles for the rest of his career. Now, as we look on to some of these other guys, another guy who's a 2-timer, Hunter Bolin. Hunter Bolin was the number 2 seed, coming into nationals, and it's kind of funny to me because he was really seen by some people still as an underdog. People really just were pushing Aaron Brooks, but a lot of people forgot about Hunter Bolin and the fact that he existed, which kind of was crazy to me, and he shouldn't. Now, just because he had that loss to Bonacorsi in Lujan, but look, he is a national title contender and will be the next 2 years. And same guy with Noah Adams, who was undefeated this past year, 32-0. And now with Colin Moore out of the way, he stands a really good shot to win 2 national titles out of WVU is Noah Adams. And another guy, a bigger guy as well, similar to Noah Adams at 197, you have Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson as well as Mason Parrish are 2 guys who are going to be competing against each other the next 2 seasons. And look, unless one of them takes a year off or whatever it is, which I don't see happening now, it's Gable Steveson and Mason Parrish going at it against each other. We could see these guys splitting hairs 1-1. We could see that, we could see neither of these guys win. We could see one of these guys win 2 back-to-back. Anything can happen with these 2. Right now, Gable Steveson is the favorite right now, but Mason Parrish could be making some big moves in the offseason. Now, the other thing I want to talk about are the coulda, shoulda, woulda. wouldas. I wish that some of these guys, because nationals were canceled, we didn't get to see some of these guys and what would have happened to them this past year. Ryan Deacon is a guy heading into his senior year. What would have happened to him this year? Hayden Hidley. Looking at Sebastian Rivera, now transferred to Rutgers. Stephon Michich, Nick Lee, he could have won a title this past year. Of course, he had some competition against Luke Pletcher as well as the rest of the field. Alex Marinelli, as well as Michael Kemmerer. Each of these guys, everybody had their tournament stripped from them, but these are guys who could potentially become multiple-time national champions. Now they don't really have the chance to do that because the national tournament was canceled. And another guy similar to that is actually Spencer Lee. Look, he had the chance to become the first four-timer in a couple of years, and now that doesn't get to happen. He still has a chance, though, to become a three-timer. Each of these guys had those chances ripped from them, which it's just so disheartening to me. But Spencer Lee, two-time national champion, defeated Suriano in Mueller in the finals in back-to-back years, was on par to do it again this year and win a national final, possibly, his easiest run. I don't want to speak for everything, but possibly his easiest run. Another guy we have here is Dayton Fix. Dayton Fix, the sophomore, has the chance, because he is just a sophomore. He made the national finals in the past and is ranked number 2 at 133 coming into this upcoming season. He is going, or 1 or 2, he's coming into this upcoming season. He's going to do extremely well. Now, he has those losses to Nick Suriano and Mickey Philippi in his past season with a 35-2 record, but he's a guy who, oh my gosh, he's going to be in contention for a title this next upcoming few years. Next guy here, 2 guys on the list, unfortunately, they had their school ripped from them and their program ripped from them, and that's Real Woods and Shane Griffith, who are now, without a program essentially at Stanford, which is so unfortunate. These are guys who could potentially be three-timers, and as with all these three-timers for the most part, who are sophomores, you could see them win 3, you could see them win 2, you could see them win none. Just anything can happen when you're talking about wrestling. It's just the nature of the sport. But Real Woods and Shane Griffith are both guys who had outstanding freshman seasons, and now going into their sophomore years, they have the chance to potentially become multiple-time national champions, and I'd like to see that happen just because their career has done so well so far. And the next guy here is Sammy Sasso. Sammy Sasso, the sophomore, was in contention for a title this year. He had some competition, of course, at 149 pounds, but coming into this season, he was the number 3 seed. He will have a competition upcoming with Austin O'Connor and the rest of the field, but this is going to be exciting to see how Sammy Sasso does at Ohio State coming into the upcoming seasons. And the next 3-timers I want to talk about are David Carr. David Carr was the number 3 seed heading into nationals, and look, he's kind of, I don't want to say he's waiting on Deacon and Hidley to graduate, but those are 2 of his toughest competitions. He was kind of the clear number 3 coming into this year, by the end of the year and coming into nationals, but he's a guy who I think he has the potential to beat those 2 guys, but once those 2 guys are out, he's going to have a little bit easier of a time at 157 pounds. And then Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks, the number 3 seed headed into nationals this past year, ranked number 5 going into the 2021 season, was 15-1. Kind of started out, I don't want to say rough, but it was tough coming straight into your true freshman season, similar to a Mark Hall situation when you have your red shirt pulled, and he's facing that stiff competition at 184, but he was able to pull it off and just do extremely well by the end of the season, winning that Big Ten title. And then that brings us to our 4-timers, and there are 2 guys here who really have the potential to win 4 national titles, and then I'm going to give you one bonus, as I promised. So Mekhi Lewis and Yianni Diakomahalis are really the guys who have the potential to win 4 national titles. Now, I also want to say that, look, any freshman coming into the season has the potential to win 4 national titles. It's just the nature of it, Any freshman could come in, win their freshman year, and then they're set up. But I don't really want to dive into all that. I'm just looking at guys right now who have won a national title before and have the potential because of their grade. And that's, of course, Mekhi Lewis, who has won in his freshman year. and just had a phenomenal run between Alex Marinelli, Evan Wick, Vincenzo Joseph, beating those guys back to back to back, having a 28-2 season, taking his Olympic redshirt year, and I think he's really set up well to do well in the future. He's going to have some competition, especially this next year with Alex Marinelli, but he has the potential, and as well as Yianni Diakomahalis. Yianni, the two-timer, defeated Bryce Meredith in his freshman year, and then Joey McKenna in his sophomore year. Was 66-1 overall. That lone loss coming to Jaden Ironman, who will be some competition for him at 149 this year. But over the past 2 seasons, has won those 2 national titles and is really looking great to be a 4-time national champion. And then who is that bonus guy that I want to mention? The bonus guy that I have here, looking at all the freshmen and guys coming in, looking at where they're ranked, how they've done in high school, I believe that one guy, based on his weight, based on his school that he's attending, and based on his record last year, has the potential to become a 4-timer. And that is Carter Sirachi, the 174-pounder out of Penn State. It's currently ranked number 6 heading into the 2021 season by Flow Wrestling. And he was 19-0 last year as a redshirt at Penn State. I think Sirachi's really set up to do well at that weight, be a nice replacement for Mark Hall. And I'm excited to see how he is going to do. Now, maybe that pans out. We'll see how that pans out or it doesn't pan out. But I'd please like to know your opinion on what you have to say about each of these guys, who you think are going to win multiple time national titles. And if you're interested in watching another wrestling video, I recommend that you check out this video right here. So stop stalling and get on watching.